What's up? Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and you are in the right spot. This is where we discuss real life, real problems with real people. You're going to get unstuck. Now, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and share this with a loved one. Let's get ready to get unstuck. What's up, guys? Today, we're going to talk about transitions and closing out chapters. As we are recording, you guys will probably hear co-host. She is awake. And she'll probably be down to join us. Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and today we're going to talk about what is really happening when you're closing out chapters and things like that. So right now we're cleaning out the basement and we're moving out of a building that we rent. And what usually happens is you think it's going to be like just smooth sailing. It's going to be, there goes co-host. It's going to be a one-shot deal, but usually it's nothing like that. Usually you start to find things that you lost. You start to figure out that, okay, she sees the mic, so she's whispering. Go ahead. You start to find things that you lost. You start to think that you still need probably what you lost. And most importantly, sometimes you feel like, what am I doing making this next step or closing this chapter? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, do you guys ever feel different when you're in transitions or closing out seasons? Let me know. And as you're here, make sure you subscribe so we can keep helping more people and we can help you as well. So as we're closing out this chapter of renting the space that we had, tons of memories came back to my mind. I remember us getting the place, and it's an historic place, so we were real skeptical about what the town was going to think, what the town was going to say, how they were going to react to it all. And well, when we had the hearing, it went way smoother than we planned. It actually went really, really smooth. So shout outs to that. But as we got the place, we thought we knew what to do with it, and then it became apparent that what we thought we should do wasn't the best idea. So I did boxing classes out of there. We did some life coaching out of there. Me and my wife have a nonprofit where we help women of color who've been sexually trafficked and sexually assaulted. We did classes out of there, but it seems like we never hit it on the nail what we were supposed to do. So in that, we learned the lesson that sometimes all of the answers don't come right away. Sometimes the answers don't come right away. And sometimes they start to reveal themselves when you're getting into the next chapter or you're closing out the current chapter. Now, I believe this season, as we're closing this season, it's going to show us what's next. It's going to show us why we rented this place for 3 years, why we did what we did, and more. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel at times you don't understand the current season until it's over? Or are you the person that has all of the understanding the whole time through? I'm probably the first person where I understand it sometimes a little better as I'm exiting. Now, here are some things that you can do when you're getting into a new season. If there are old things in that season that you're not using, give it away or sell it. Give it away or sell it. Get it off your plate. You don't need to hoard. You don't need to try to come up with another way to use it. Get rid of it. I usually feel when I do that, I feel so clean and I feel so light knowing that I'm getting rid of something that I'm no longer going to benefit from or somebody else could possibly benefit from. I've done that tons of times with sneakers, books, items, all of that. And that's what we're doing today. The second thing is taking a second to thank yourself for being in that season. Every season is not full of doom, gloom, or everything's bad. Some seasons you learn things. Some seasons you figure out things. A lot of seasons you figure out yourself. Who was I during that period of time? What was I doing? What was I gravitating towards? And with that, there's a lot of blessing and lessons. I'm not a rapper, so I'm not going to try to make that rhyme again, but there's a lot of blessings and lessons. Something that I teach a content group that I work for, making content simple again, you guys should join that community. It's $5 a month right now. Online, lots of good help, tips, tricks, challenges, all that stuff. And we usually talk about your old content did serve a purpose, even if the purpose was making you comfortable to put content out. Your old content did serve a purpose, even if it was literally meant to help you not be afraid anymore. So it did have a purpose. Don't think it didn't. And that's the same thing with old seasons. They did have a purpose. I believe they're like building blocks where you don't get to the next season until you've conquered the season that you're in. I just want to go into the next season a lot more grateful than I am resistant. Now, here's the last one. This is a short one today. Here's the last thing that I would share is take a breather as you're switching seasons. Now, this is not something that I've always done. My MO was almost, let's go, let's get it popping. We're ready. That was usually my MO. And that's not a good MO to keep. The reason for that is you never get a chance to regroup. You never get a chance to reset. You just keep going and going like an Energizer bunny. And that's not the way you want to be doing things, because you'll never actually appreciate where you've come. So something that I told myself is, as I switch this season, give myself a couple hours in the week to just be. I like being by water, being quiet. So I may go get some Mediterranean food and eat it and then go by the water. Who knows? But giving myself a chance to actually sit, breathe, think, and become grateful. I also like to write down all the lessons that I learned while being in that old season. I learned a lot about the town, programs, how things work, people, who I was in that season, the things that changed in my life, the challenges that I had a chance to overcome in that season. A lot happened in that season. It was a season where we went from renting out. It was a season that was coming through COVID. So we went from having my garage as the gym to having that place as the gym. So as we're closing, it's a bittersweet moment. I'm glad to end the chapter. I'm nervous of what's next, but I'm also accepting that within each season, there's lessons, there are blessings, and there's a chance of growth. And every season, there's the chance for lessons, blessings, and growth if we look at it that way. There's a scripture in the Bible in Ecclesiastes that talks about, chapter 3, it talks about it's a time and a place for everything. A time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to build, a time to tear down. And this season, I think it's a season to build. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm allowing you to be on this journey so you can understand. We may not always get all the issues. Now, here's something that I do want to talk to you guys about as we close. You guys know by now, if you don't know, if this is your first episode listening to it, I love teaching people how to podcast. Podcasting is simply you recording your audio and dispersing that to the world. What people see in videos is videos. We just call it video podcasting, and we do both. But my heart is for helping people who are busy, introverts, coaches. You want to be able to have a podcast because you want to be able to reach more people, have a deeper connection with your community, and you don't feel like always doing like graphics and messing with the algorithm on social media and things like that. We teach people how to podcast. We teach people how to do it from A to Z, and we teach people how to do it where it's not overwhelming and stressful, because ain't nobody got time for that. We teach you those things, and we teach you as either individual sessions or group sessions. And the benefit of individual sessions is just you. And then the benefit of group sessions is you get a chance to do it with other people, depending on your style, your time, and how fast you want to do it. So we have programs that you can do it in a day. We have programs where you can do it in 5 days. Then we have programs where you can do it in a month. So tap in with us. Go.drewcost.com. Get your podcast started if you're considering it. There's nothing to lose. We've had a great success rate. We love doing it and helping people understand how they can use their brand, their message, their coaching to do it where it makes sense in the long run. If you guys know, more people are subscribed on Facebook and social media than they are on podcasts. So if a person is subscribed to your podcast and they only following 10 podcasters, your stuff is going to come up often, which is good because they're going to tap in. And now if you're like me, we live in an age where I listen to podcasts when I'm working out, when I'm walking, when I'm doing chores. It's always in my ear versus a video. Nothing against video. I do love video. I just think having the audio is an amazing way. If that's you, contact us. Other than that, be great. I'm out of here, guys. I cannot say thank you enough for listening to this episode. Do me a favor, subscribe and share it with a friend. Okay. Help us help more people as we share a message of getting unstuck with real life problems with real people solving them. Be great.